Past winter, I had a customer come in and say, the molding on my driver's door window is broken. And I look at the window and I can see rhythmic chips. In my head, I got my ice scraper. I'm going scrape, scrape, scrape. Sorry, sir, that's not a fault of the vehicle. Did I cause this weird electrical issue by spilling my cup of coffee down through the cup holders and frying an electrical circuit? And a connector was just full of gooey something. I don't know what to this day. I didn't ask because I didn't want to know. Hi everybody, welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. I'm Matt and I'm here today with my dad's 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 3500. We're here today to dig into vehicle warranties. New vehicle warranties, extended warranties, all the different coverages that you can get from your dealer when you purchase your vehicles. Let's get into it. So I figured we'd pop open the hood here and start up front on my dad's truck. So he only has 44,000 kilometers on this vehicle, so it's still covered by what you hear in the industry as your bumper to bumper, which is your basic warranty comes with pretty much every new vehicle across the board of 3 years or 60,000 kilometers here in Canada. So he's still covered for everything. And that was really good for him because in this truck, he started having some weird issues right off the bat. Kept getting a message for water in fuel. So we tried things like a couple of additives to try and get it out. We tried things like changing your filters to get them out. We tried a few things ourselves, but then eventually said, oh, you know what? It's brand new. Let's get them to look at it. So we took it in. The GM engineers, the GM dealer had everything looked at and they couldn't figure it out either. So we had a really interesting conundrum with this truck. It was gone away for the better part of 2 months at the dealership. And this speaks to parts availabilities and just diagnostics in general. It takes a while sometimes when you get these weird gremlins in new vehicles and how to figure them out. I myself, no stranger to this working at dealerships. I've had vehicles right off the line with really weird problems. Brand new cars that come in with only a couple hundred kilometers on them that I have spent literally months between waiting for parts and then trying things and diagnosing. It's been months to figure out strange problems like a slightly crimped wire in the dashboard of a brand new car. That took me forever to figure out that it was a magnetic field being collapsed into another wire, picking up strange signals, messing with computer communications. Things get really weird during assembly when you have problems. Exactly what happened over here. My dad's truck had fueling issues. It had misfiring issues. So the engineers started with, well, let's replace the bad injector. So they went ahead and they replaced the number 8 injector. Didn't fix it. So then they thought, okay, well, let's replace the whole rail on that side. Maybe it's a problem in the rail. Didn't fix it. So then that's when they pulled out what we like to call the parts cannon. Load that cannon up with all the different parts in the system, fire it at the truck. Now this is a very mechanic-based type lingo when I say the parts blanket, the parts cannon, or the shotgun method you may have heard of, which is, let's just do the whole system. It's brand new, the customer's upset, let's fix it for them. So in this case, that's exactly what happened. They gave him all new injectors, all new rails, all new lines, new filter, new tank, and new pumps. They did the whole fueling system on his brand new truck when it was less than 6 months old, and it's been perfect ever since. So I still can't pinpoint which component it was or what the fault was, but hey, it hasn't had the warnings, it hasn't had the misfires, it's been running great since. And that's a weird thing in this industry where you're kind of like, oh, at least I'm covered, at least I'm covered. And that's nice with your new vehicle warranties. So that covered him for this. Let's talk about what happens after that warranty runs out. After your basic bumper-to-bumper warranty is completely out, once you hit that 3-year or that 60,000 kilometer mark, you get into the next phase of your warranty, which is now your typically 5-year to 100,000 kilometer warranty. So this usually only covers what they would call your drivetrain or your powertrain. So things like your engine, transmission, drive lines, all your basics. So once you're out of that basic warranty, you know, things like your peripheral components, your electronics in the cab, different things under the hood, things like, say, batteries or tires or anything like that, brakes, you know, suspension components, that's it. You've moved on. We're now on to engine, transmission, drivetrain only. So they're still covering that for up to that 100,000 kilometer mark, which is good news, because in that frame, now you're starting to get into a couple of your fluid replacements. So you want to make sure that you're definitely covered there. Now, beyond that, you also have emissions warranties, which kind of vary. We saw them anywhere from as low as 6-year 120,000 kilometer to as long as 8-year 200,000 kilometers. And those are on components like your catalytic converter, and in certain diesel applications like this, your DEF system and DEF injectors. Now, that's also great coverage. You know, that's twofold. It's EPA standards that they want your vehicle to be as most efficient as possible, not polluting as little as possible, but also, you know, those are expensive components. Catalytic converters can be north of $1,500 to $2,000 depending on your model. Diesels take out a mortgage to cover some of the filters that are in these things. Now, beyond that, the only other warranties that you're concerned about, especially on newer vehicles, are your electric warranties. So most companies are anywhere, again, it's a bit of a range depending on your brand, but anywhere from about 6-year 120 to some of the longer ones at 8-year 230 to cover things like your hybrid electric batteries, as well as your hybrid components, motors, EV motors, etc. Again, peace of mind, especially for those people in that segment looking at electric vehicles. You want that peace of mind that that expensive battery, if it has a problem, at least I'm covered for so long, and you can get that life out of it without having to worry about that massive bill coming. Now, anything else, you're looking at extended warranties that you have to purchase at the dealership. And honestly, a lot of these are very closely guarded secrets in terms of their costs. Now, you can buy coverages on different vehicles for up to 200, 250, like 250,000 kilometers if you want, up to 10 years even if you want after the purchase of a new vehicle. It all depends on you, and especially with newer cars, newer systems, a lot of those warranties, yeah, they can be in the thousands of dollars, but when you're talking about a computer, or you're talking about even like a radio system or one of those massive screens that you're getting now in newer vehicles that can be north of $2,000, it's almost good to have that peace of mind in the back of your, you know, just in your back pocket. You know, okay, my radio died. Oh man, that's $3,000. Well, I bought an extended warranty for $3,000, I'm covered. Maybe you don't end up using it, maybe, but I mean, overall, definitely worth looking into. And I mean, in certain brands, in certain cases, I spent a lot of time at a Honda dealership. I also spent a lot of time at a Hyundai dealership. Things like extended warranties for suspension components on Hyundais, ball joints, links, various different bushings in your suspension that are all covered by different extended warranties, worth it. Those components seem to never quite last to that end of that warranty. So I mean, even that, $400, $500, $600 at a shot, at least you know it's going to be covered. You don't have to think about it. That's great. Overall, though, it's a bit of a gamble. So really weigh your different warranties and kind of think to yourself, what am I buying here? You know, not to put them on a pedestal, but am I buying the Toyota? Toyota being one of the most reliable brands on the planet. Am I buying the Honda, one of the most reliable cars on the planet? You know, maybe I don't need it. Am I buying something a little less reliable, known to have problems? Maybe I buy the warranty. Ultimately, it's your call. However, definitely never a bad idea.
Hey everybody, listen, we got a new shipment of Giddy Up. So what's a Giddy Up? Well, this will get your butt into your tall truck or your lifted truck. And if you're not over 6 feet tall, as your kids and your wife aren't, you really need one of these. Go below to the link in the description and it'll take you right to the sale page.
One of the biggest challenges with any warranty on any vehicle, doesn't matter the brand, doesn't matter the cost of the vehicle, is customer responsibility versus dealer responsibility. Who really is taking care of this problem? And I bring that up because a lot of brands have the onus on the customer. You know, have you looked after the vehicle? Have you done your part so that the fault of the components is a true fault of the components, or is it a fault of lack of maintenance or, you know, misuse of the product, as the case may be? So these are valuations that you have to deal with every time you bring your vehicle in for what you think might be a warranty complaint. And I'm here at the back of my dad's truck for a prime example. So when hooking up his trailer one day, his fifth wheel trailer, they had a little bit of a mishap where the pin missed and the trailer dropped, and you could see this lovely little crease and dent here in the edge of the bed. So 100%, without a doubt, a customer related fault. So does he go to the dealer for this and ask for warranty? He shouldn't, because if I'm working at the dealer and I get this, I walk over and go, it's been damaged by you. We don't cover that. There are people out there who think everything should be covered. It's under warranty. Everything is free. And that becomes the challenge. Why is it not free? Well, because you damaged it. I didn't tell you to go do this. I didn't make you do this. Therefore, the onus is not on the vehicle. The trailer dropping and hitting here is not a fault of the truck. It is a fault of the usage. I have encountered many people who have come in with issues like this. Most recently, we're currently springtime here in Canada. This past winter, I had a customer come in and say, the molding on my driver's door window is broken. Okay, so I walked over, it's a brand new car, it's got less than 5,000 kilometers on it, and I look at the window and I can see rhythmic chips. And I say rhythmic because in my head, I got my ice scraper, I'm going scrape, 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 and I'm hitting it bump, 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 all the way along. Sorry, sir, that's not a fault of the vehicle. The weather stripping on your car's window did not choose to be gouged by your snow brush multiple times. So this brought up a really interesting problem because I went up and said, not warranty. The dealership came back to me and said, we're gonna cover it for them. So this is a really sticky situation that you run into often in the dealership world where it's a good customer. They've bought vehicles with us. They have a lifetime history with us. So we're going to go ahead and sneak this one through for them. Now, whether or not that was the dealership trying to get it covered or, just they were tired of hearing him complain, which is also a very large problem in the automotive industry. People coming in and saying, why isn't this covered? Why isn't this covered? Calling day and night, showing up every 3 days to bug about this problem that they created. So eventually they just let it go. Now, warranty fraud? It's a term nobody likes to hear. Yes, ultimately, telling the manufacturer that this part broke itself on its own and getting it covered by them, that's not exactly above board. But it does happen a lot. So if you're the squeaky wheel, sometimes you might get lucky. Depends on the store. Now, on the flip side of that, the manufacturer also will deny claims in these situations where they will get the receipt, they will get the pictures of the component and the explanation as to why it was complained or replaced, and they will say, no, this is not okay. We're not covering that. So that also comes back to whether or not you have looked after your vehicle, and let's talk about those right here. The last piece of the warranty puzzle comes down to your manufacturers and whether or not they approve or believe the claims that you have. When you come in with a vehicle and you say, oh, I've got this problem, that problem. Okay, cool. We'll check it out. So we look into it. Yes, we agree you have a seized caliper, for example. And I ran into this a lot when I worked at Honda. Honda is totally cool. Their warranty's great. They cover their products. They believe in their products, but you have to do your part. So in that instance, you come in with a car that has a seized caliper. I check it out. It has a caliper. It definitely needs one. Here it is, here's the warranty, great. Honda then goes into your history, the service history for your vehicle, and they say, have you, as the customer, done your brake servicing and your brake fluid flushes? Things that are necessary to maintain the life and the health of those calipers. Well, according to your history, yes, you've done your fluid, yes, you've done your services on time, no problem, here's your caliper. On the flip side, you've denied your services, you've denied your brake fluid flushes, and you can't prove to us that they were done somewhere else by a reputable source or even by yourself, keeping receipts from, say, a parts store. You can't prove it. Sorry, you didn't look after your car the way that you were supposed to. We're not going to cover that for you. And as shady as it sounds, to me, that system always felt okay. You do your part, we'll cover it, not an issue. On the flip side, other manufacturers, I have two instances. Hyundai engines, 2 liters, 2.4 liters, are known for connecting rod bearing failures. This is a very common issue. There's class action lawsuits all across Canada and the United States for these problems. But you'd come in with a failed rod bearing, we would look at it, we'd agree with you, then we'd send it off for claims, and they'd come back and say, they missed 2 oil changes according to our service history. Denied. And that one always felt tough to me because it's a known failure. It's a component failure issue. I saw vehicles there that oil was changed prematurely religiously to make sure that this wouldn't happen, and it still happened. This was a problem, this was a systemic problem that wasn't repaired. It should just be covered, but that manufacturer didn't want to cover it. Not all the time, but in some extreme circumstances, denied. Really frustrating. And on the flip side of that, I once owned a 2016 Dodge Ram with the EcoDiesel in it. And right at 61,000 kilometers, I was just out of my basic warranty. I had the EGR cooler, the exhaust gas recirculation valve cooler, start to leak internally, and it was consuming coolant. So I took it to my local dealer. I dropped it off and said, this is the problem. I've already diagnosed it. Let me know when it's fixed. They called me and said, no problem. It's going to cost you several $1,000s. I said, why? It should be covered by my powertrain warranty. They said, nope, not technically. It's not part of the engine. It's just bolted to the engine. So I had to call Chrysler. I had to say, what the heck? I fought a little bit. I was the squeaky wheel that day, and eventually I got the part covered. I had to pay the labor, which even was acceptable to me at that time. Fine, it's the part that was expensive. Thank you. So they did that for me. But even then, this is a major component. It's part of your emission system, part of your engine, drivability system. You think that would be covered. Nope. And I didn't read the fine print. I didn't read all 19 pages of that list of things that were and weren't covered. So in my head, it's on the engine, it's going to get covered. That's when customers kind of fall flat, when you come in with that problem and you say, here you go, it's your car, fix it. Well, did you read your whole contract? No. Who's ever read a whole contract? Nobody. The biggest thing I can always say though, when it comes to these types of warranties, your vehicles, especially modern vehicles, they're going to pop up and they're going to tell you what services are due. There are maintenance schedules online for every brand on the planet that tells you exactly what's due and when, what to inspect, what to replace. If you stick to those, you get them done by a reputable dealer or a reputable mechanic that can keep those records, and you have everything. There's no reason why, if there's a true component failure, these manufacturers shouldn't be covering these problems. But ultimately, you have to kind of weigh it. You have to say, did I do this? Did I cause this weird electrical issue by spilling my cup of coffee down through the cup holders and frying an electrical circuit? I've seen that. I've spent hours taking apart cars to find a weird problem, and a connector was just full of gooey something. I don't know what to this day. I didn't ask because I didn't want to know, but it was causing a weird electrical problem. Is it warranty at that point? No. You spilled a cup of whatever. But also, should the vehicle have been able to catch it? Maybe. There's a little bit of gray area when it comes to those things, but ultimately, did you do it? Did the vehicle do it? Can you prove it? Those are the big things to remember when it comes to these warranties. So I think the biggest takeaway when it comes to vehicles and warranties is to make sure that you understand what you are covered for. So whether it be your brand or the length of time that you have, you need to know what's covered and how and what you need to do. This is a great question to maintain that warranty on your car. And honestly, we would love you guys to drop down into the comments and let us know the types of stories and experiences that you've had. Great stories, horror stories, we'd love to hear it all. And if you want to hear more, I've got a million. I have one from yesterday. These are never-ending things, and it's always good to hear what other people have gone through so that you yourself are educated for your own vehicle's future. And while you're down there, always, hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come back to Truck King to see what else we can talk about when it comes to this automotive industry.